key to this punch. The jab puts the rhythm.
Another big left hand. Thomas is hurt. And another left hand. And a big left hand right on the jaw.
I have been to a lot of fights, right? And I have never heard punches like I've heard your punches.
And now Tyson moves in for the kill.
I mean, I've seen punches, but I've never heard them. They were the loudest.
Another big left hand.
Either you hit the hardest or that man was just like made of cement or something. They made such noises.
Tyson is in a fighting mood.
We want to think of our previous videos documenting Tyson's rise to the title as Season 1. And now we'll cover his championship reign in what will be an unofficial Season 2, Tyson's Reign of Terror.
I made 11 defenses of my title. And for 3.5 years making 11 defenses, I'm up there in the all-time rings.
Iron Mike fought an array of top competition during this reign, but none came more well-equipped and fundamentally sound than the man he made his second title defense against, Pinklin Pinky Thomas.
After the bell ring, I have no respect for him at all.
It was a matchup guaranteed to display elite boxing skills from each end of the spectrum, with Tyson's aggressive peekaboo style mixing it up against Thomas's classic boxer-puncher technique. Let's take a look. This is Mike Tyson at 56 years of age, still displaying excellent form and technique to set up a punch that, during his boxing career, became his most deadly secret weapon to incapacitate his opponents, the uppercut.
A low right from Young.
The uppercut is one of the most effective ways of breaking an opponent's high guard, striking from an angle that passes straight through an opponent's gloves, targeting one of the most vulnerable spots on the human anatomy, the jaw. But there is a reason it's statistically the least utilized punch in every boxer's repertoire. It's situational and high risk, given the nature of how much surface area is exposed while preparing the strike. And this is where Tyson's countless hours of practicing drills on the pads separated him from the pack, making his uppercut risk-averse by setting it up in a way his opponents not only didn't see coming, but expected an entirely different shot to land altogether.
I'm the master of the pinpoint. My shots are so accurate and so precise.
You only have to go back a couple of fights to get an understanding of Tyson's shrewd strategy, with his fight against Jose Rebalta being the standout example of its devastating outcome.
So counter right hand by Mike Tyson is invited. And there was an uppercut. What a shot.
This is one of my favorite knockdowns of Tyson's career. The setup, execution, and look of bemusement on Rebalta's face once he got back to his feet told the whole story. He wasn't expecting that shot to land, and that's because of how Tyson disguised the follow-up from his right hook to the body as the second in succession, making Rebalta drop his left arm to defend a punch that was always intended to dupe him by landing upstairs.
Without the opponent seeing the punch, and those are the punches that do the most damage.
Tyson did this repeatedly throughout the fight, varying his setup ever so slightly each time, catching Rebalta off guard over and over again. However, Rebalta may have been one of the toughest guys Tyson had ever faced, but he wasn't the most technically sound. Whether his body uppercut combo would work against someone with polished skills and a high fight IQ remained to be seen.
That I had the fastest hands and the fastest feet, and there was no way I was going to ever be beat.
History has remembered Pinklin Thomas as another random heavyweight champion between the eras of two all-time greats in Muhammad Ali and Mike Tyson. But once you go back and take a deep dive into the heavyweight division in the early 80s, the man who entered the ring in all pink was arguably the most talented boxer among an array of young, powerful, and skillful rising champions, which is all the more startling once you consider the dark secret he carried for much of his professional career.
I was the typical youth, turned bad. At 12, I was running a 100-yard dash in 10.5. By the age of 14, I was a heroin addict.
You heard that right. Heroin addiction, which, as you can imagine, is an extremely rare occurrence among professional athletes, especially ones that need to maintain the physical strength of a heavyweight prizefighter. And this wasn't something he just dabbled with in his teens. Thomas was an addict throughout much of his career, and you can see how high he was during the few scarce media interviews he did back in the day.
And I want to prove to the world that I am a superior boxer.
At first glance, it's easy to assume that Pinklin was perhaps carrying the effects of what thousands of punches can do to the brain. In fact, as you'll see later, he was just high as a kite, with the ability to articulate himself in a much more orderly manner.
He's the one who spoke it. Two hard jabs.
Surprisingly, Pinklin's addiction never seemed to affect his dedication to training and performances in the ring. By 1985, with only a handful of fights and a few short years of experience under his belt, Thomas had already beaten guys like Quick Tillis and Alonzo Ratliff before swiftly stepping up the level to compete with championship-quality fighters such as Mike Weaver and Tim Witherspoon.
You know, everyone claims that Holmes got the best jab in the business, and I wanted to show that I have a hell of a jab too, and mine is more powerful.
When you hear that a fighter's best quality is his jab, you usually assume he's more of a boring, safety-first type of fighter. But in Pinklin's case, he had built a reputation as a crowd-friendly fighter that gave his opponents just enough to make things interesting while always remaining in control due to his superior boxing IQ.
I'm so impressed with his jab, now I'm impressed with his right hand.
In a nutshell, Thomas was the complete all-rounder with little to no flaws as a boxer. He punched hard and fast, with swift feet and the intelligence to engage at the right time. He'd never fought anyone of Tyson's caliber, but outside of possibly Holmes, there weren't many fighters at this time that carried that genuine final boss aura like Iron Mike.
Well, who's got more strength? Pinklin. Who punches harder? Pinklin. Who's got the best left hand? Pinklin. He's going to get licked. I mean, there's too many things against him for him to win. He's going to get knocked out late round, but a heck of a fight.
Well, Thomas had said that Tyson has fought the C-class fighters and the B-class fighters, and now he's fighting an A-class fighter for the first time.
Tyson met Thomas in front of 13,000 fans at the Hilton Resort in Las Vegas. Even as a champion, the ring attire stayed the same. No robe, no socks, black trunks, and black shoes. Focused on the war ahead.
Well, not a bad idea against Mike Tyson.
Tyson is a 6-1 favorite.
Tyson starts out with the right hand. As he comes in, he feigns left, he feigns right.
The key to this punch, the jab puts the rhythm.
Another big left hand. Thomas is hurt. And another left hand. And a big left hand right on the jaw.
A fast, aggressive start for Tyson wasn't unusual, but this was different. There were no feel-out or set-up punches, just straight knockout shots from the get-go.
When he's all right, leave the alone! Quiet, Angelo. Leave him alone! Stinky, look up at
A doctor's intervention after the first round ended brought out the very best in the legendary trainer Angelo Dundee.
Get away from this man!
And I've never seen Angelo that angry. Have you, Ray? Well, Angelo has a tendency to get excited.
Started to say swelling on both cheeks. There's a good jab again by Thomas.
Thomas seemed spurred on at the nasty left hook that no heavyweight was getting up from.
I mean, he gets so much leverage behind each punch.
However, Thomas boxed well, and that was acknowledged by Mike in their joint post-fight interview.
It's my pleasure to give you a shot at the title, but you deserve it. Answer the question.
Thomas took some time after the Tyson loss, but ran straight into the next big thing in Evander Holyfield upon his return, suffering an equally taxing defeat that triggered the downfall and eventual retirement a few years later. After boxing, Thomas got clean, and as of this video's release, has been kicking addiction's ass for 30 years.
The one and only Pinklin Thomas. Pink, great to see you as always.
Hey, thank you, man. You don't have to compliment me that well. I mean, I really appreciate it, though, you know.
His speech and overall engagement in conversation is at a much higher level than it was while he was in his 20s, which fortunately for him wasn't the case for many others that shared the ring with a prime Mike Tyson, let alone while high on opioids.